Welcome to Infinite Heart Stories, where we explore the hidden depths of success and the resilience required to truly build a legacy. Meet Alex, a dedicated marketing professional who has spent 4 long years working tirelessly, yet feels he has absolutely nothing to show. Every scroll on his phone brings another wave of jealousy as he watches peers celebrating promotions, luxury trips, and seemingly instant success. He feels stuck in a loop of endless effort with zero reward, questioning if his hard work will ever actually pay off. For 4 years, he has sacrificed weekends and sleep, believing that sheer volume of work would naturally lead to a big breakthrough. But looking down at the bustling city below, he feels invisible, as if the world is moving forward while he stands still. The pressure to succeed is suffocating, and the constant comparison to the highlight reels of others is slowly destroying his inner confidence. Seeking some clarity, he decides to meet Jordan, a wise mentor known for seeing the truth behind the illusions of the industry. Jordan sits calmly in the corner, radiating a sense of peace that Alex desperately craves in this moment of professional, chaotic turmoil. Alex wastes no time, immediately venting about his 4 years of struggle and how unfair it feels to be left behind. He explains how he has done everything right, followed every rule, yet the recognition and results remain persistently out of his reach. Jordan listens in silence, knowing that this feeling of desperation is a common symptom of a much deeper misunderstanding of success. After pouring his heart out, Alex waits, hoping for a quick fix or a secret strategy to finally turn things around. Instead of offering a marketing hack, Jordan takes a pen and begins to draw a simple diagram on a paper napkin. He sketches an iceberg, drawing a jagged line to represent the water, separating the small, visible tip from the massive foundation. Jordan points to the top and says that this is what you see on social media: the money, the fame, the followers. This small section represents only 10% of reality, yet it is the only part that the world ever acknowledges or applauds. But then Jordan points to the massive structure underneath, the 90% that remains hidden from the public eye and the cameras. He explains that this 90% is where the real life happens: the late nights, the failures, the doubts, and the discipline. This hidden mass includes the years of silent work, the skills honed in solitude, and the resilience built through repeated rejection. It is the rejection emails you deleted, the projects that never launched, and the lonely hours spent mastering your craft without applause. Alex stares at the drawing, realizing he has been obsessing over the tip of the iceberg, while neglecting to value his foundation. Jordan tells him that without this massive underwater foundation, the tip would simply topple over and sink into the ocean instantly. He describes people who try to fake the 10% without building the 90%. They are fragile and easily destroyed. Jordan then addresses the myth of overnight success, explaining that what we see is actually just overnight visibility, not instant creation. He compares it to bamboo that grows roots for years before shooting up, proving that growth happens long before it becomes visible. When the world finally sees the bamboo rise, they call it a miracle, ignoring the years of darkness it endured underground. Alex begins to recall people who skyrocketed to fame quickly, but vanished just as fast when the market or algorithms changed. Jordan explains that success without a foundation is like a sandcastle. It looks impressive until the first tide comes to wash it away. True success is like a lighthouse built on rock. It withstands the storms because its foundation goes deep into the earth. He looks Alex in the eye and assures him that his 4 years of struggle are not wasted time, but necessary construction. You are currently building the underwater mass that will eventually support a legacy that is both visible and unshakable for decades. The perspective shift changes everything for Alex. He no longer sees his office as a prison, but as a training ground. He realizes that every skill he learns and every problem he solves is adding weight and stability to his personal iceberg. He stops comparing his unfinished foundation to the finished penthouses of others, understanding that their journeys are completely different from his. The focus shifts from seeking applause to seeking mastery, knowing that competence is the only currency that truly matters in the end. Days turn into weeks, and while the external results haven't exploded yet, his internal confidence is growing stronger with every small victory. When he encounters peers showing off, he no longer feels envy because he knows the depth of the work required to sustain it. He understands that many people are hollow inside, terrified that a strong wind will reveal they have no roots to hold them. Alex documents his journey, valuing the quiet hours of the morning when he builds his future while the rest of the world sleeps. The darkness that once felt oppressive now feels like a protective blanket, giving him the privacy to grow without premature judgment. Jordan's wisdom echoes in his mind. Do not fear the time it takes, for you are building a masterpiece, not a sketch. Slowly, the quality of his work begins to speak for itself, attracting the right kind of attention from people who value substance. Opportunities start to arrive, not by luck, but as a direct consequence of the capability and depth he has cultivated in silence. He looks at the iceberg diagram on his wall and realizes that his tip is finally emerging, supported by a massive, unbreakable base. The journey is not a sprint for attention. It is a marathon of character building, where the strongest are those who endure. As they part ways, Jordan reminds him one last time to fall in love with the process, not just the potential outcome. Alex walks out into the sunlight, no longer feeling behind, but knowing he is exactly where he needs to be right now. Just like a skyscraper requires a deep excavation before it can touch the clouds, your life requires depth before it can rise. Seasons will change and trends will fade, but the roots you establish today will keep you standing through the harshest of winters. Alex eventually becomes a mentor himself, teaching others that the quickest way to fail is to try to succeed without preparation. He helps them see that their anxiety is just a signal that they are focusing too much on the surface and not the depth. Think of a volcano. The power is generated deep within the earth, long before the explosion forces the world to pay attention. When the moment of recognition finally comes for Alex, he remains humble, knowing exactly what it cost to get to that stage. He does not let the applause go to his head because he remembers the silence that forged him when no one was watching. He places the award on his shelf and returns to work, understanding that the maintenance of the iceberg is a lifelong commitment. True growth is a continuous flow, not a destination. It requires constant feeding of the mind, and strengthening of the spirit. He finds peace in the journey, releasing the toxic need to prove his worth to strangers on the internet or in the office. Like steel forged in fire, the pressure you feel today is not there to crush you, but to shape you into something unbreakable. Alex looks in the mirror and finally respects the person staring back, not for what he has, but for who he became. So, stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You are reading a completely different book with a different timeline. Some seeds sprout in days, while others take years. Do not curse your soil just because your harvest takes longer to mature. Focus on your internal metrics. Are you learning? Are you improving? Are you becoming better than you were exactly 1 year ago? Growth is rarely a straight line. It is a messy, chaotic upward trend that requires patience and a lot of self-forgiveness. Water your own grass instead of checking if your neighbour's is greener. That is the only way your garden will ever flourish. When you finally build your foundation, you have the capacity to support others, turning your personal success into a communal benefit. Jordan helped Alex, and now Alex helps others, creating a chain of resilience that is far more valuable than any viral post. Remember the iceberg, the bamboo, and the lighthouse. Let these images remind you that what remains hidden is what truly sustains you. If you feel invisible right now, know that you are not failing. You are simply under construction, building something magnificent and lasting. Trust the timing of your life. Embrace the darkness of the soil and prepare yourself for the moment you finally break through. Patience is power. Resilience is your tool, and belief in your own journey is the fuel that will keep you moving forward. Your time will come, and when it does, you will be ready to hold it, not just for a moment, but forever. We want to hear from you. Are you in the building phase? Share your story in the comments and support each other. Let's build a community that values the 90%, celebrating the hard work that happens long before the world starts clapping. Thank you for watching this episode. Keep building your foundation, and we will see you next time on Infinite Heart Stories.